is going to flow is that it's going to be a combination of educating the audience. So as they talk about what they're doing, please keep in mind the type of questions pertaining to what they do. Try to stay away from theoretical, hypothetical conversations that are not discussed up here, because you really want to find out what's going on in the borough of the Bronx, so you can dig a little bit deeper and ask those individuals who are leading Bronx initiatives exactly what they're doing. And don't ask questions of what they're not doing, because that's kind of disruptive sometimes. So first and foremost, thank you everybody for participating. Please introduce yourself and you can explain what you're doing in the borough of Bronx for being healthier bodegas in less than 2 minutes.
Well, again, good morning everyone. My name is Juan Rios. I'm from the Highbridge Community Life Center, and that's located west of Yankee Stadium. It's a very unique and transforming community. When I first came to Highbridge 2 years ago, we saw that what most people describe it as a produce desert. There were 2 supermarkets serving, I would say, an area of 25 blocks. And it was scattered with a lot of bodegas. Most people were not eating produce in the community. When we went to the bodega, usually the produce was in the back shelves. And so we knew that we were dealing more from a public health issue. We were dealing more with an economic driving force. So the language that we started to communicate with the bodega owners to create healthier options for the community really was being translated into economic forces such as supply and demand. What sells? What's convenient? What's marketing? Product placement? And so we had to build trust with the bodega owner. And so eventually we were able to do some things that I'm going to share with you later that really had helped change the perception of what the owners were selling in the bodega.
My name is Helen Williams. I'm appearance of the show. You need to talk a little bit
louder, Ms. Williams.
My name is Helen Williams. I'm appearance of Sheldon Academy. And I have Kelly with the bodega. We go actually, every time she comes, we go with her and my granddaughter. And we try to talk to him, and he's accepted what we talk about. And he's trying to help. He's selling a lot of fresh fruits, and he's going. He went into the health stuff now. He's putting them in front to sell fruits and stuff. Great, thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Peggy Leggett. I'm here from the Department of Health. It's not city.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. But I am in the Food Access and Community Health Initiatives program, community health programs, and just here to talk a little bit about our Shop Healthy NYC initiative, which is, in this phase of it, happening in the Bronx, so it's called Shop Healthy Bronx. It's a 3-pronged initiative that's happening in the 10458 and 10460 zip code, so in Fordham and West Farms areas, which captures about 138,000 people. So our one prong of the initiative is doing store outreach, working with bodega owners to make a set of 7 changes that we've learned through our Healthy Bodegas initiative, what's possible, what's not possible. So the 7 changes we're asking them to make are the ones that we sort of have seen are doable. So we have about 80 stores that have signed on to make these 7 changes in these 2 zip codes. We are also doing a pretty massive community outreach effort to work with the community groups to support the changes that store owners are making. So we're running workshops called Adopt a Shop workshops that take place in the 10458 and 10460 zip codes, such as in places like Mary Mitchell Center, Kingsbridge Library, and we're also going to community sites, be it schools, daycare centers, senior centers, NYCHA housing, working with residents to get them to adopt stores in their neighborhood. It doesn't have to be one of the stores that we're working with on the retail level. It might be another store, but it's been really exciting to see some of the ideas that have come out of our conversations with community groups that they've been able to sort of lead the way in figuring out what kinds of changes they wanted to see happen in their local bodegas or supermarkets. And then the other part of the initiative is working with the distributors. So places like Jetro, Crasdale, White Rose, I know we're in conversation with them. Jetro has agreed to come up with a list of items that are approved by the health department as healthier items and promote those items to bodega owners who are buying from Jetro. Crasdale, or bodega and sorry. I know also that some of the, I'm not sure if it's Crasdale or Jetro, sorry, Jetro, are offering a 2% discount also on items that are promoted by the health department to bodega owners that are participating in the initiative. So we're really trying to get at it from every angle, from the consumer, the small store owner, and from the distributor, and we're hoping that this comprehensive effort will really help change what stores look like and what people are purchasing. Hoping to mobilize the community, or be in partnership with the community to mobilize, to make changes to the retail environment.
Hi, my name is Davis Ortiz. Right now I'm working with Jetro Restaurant Depot, but my father's been a bodega owner for 25 years. He's been retired for the past 6. I've only been doing this for about 1.5 years with Jetro Restaurant Depot. So I'm familiar with both, with the, the distributor side and as well as being a bodega owner. What we've done, we've worked with the New York City Health Department. We've helped compile a list of everything that is healthy. We're in the future trying to promote on our flyers the healthy items. Also, we have started putting up magnets on the healthy items inside the store, which should assist the bodega owners that are in the program. Also, in the future, we plan on just educating the bodega owners on what is healthy and just giving new ideas. And there's a big thing with bodega owners that they think healthy food is expensive, which is part of the problem. That's something that that's a myth that we want to get rid of. So that's just some of the things that we're doing.
Well, great, everybody. Thank you very much for introducing yourselves. I know, Peggy, your time is limited, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so that's fine. It's fine.
I also should just mention that really the bigger hat that I wear at the health department is overseeing all the green carts work. So that's, if anyone has any questions about green carts, I know we're talking about bodegas today,
Sure.
but Kelly had mentioned some people were concerned about green carts and whether bodega owners were resistant to selling produce because of the presence of green carts. And just, I just wanted to sort of speak to that for 1 minute, just to say that, there are a lot of neighborhoods that have street vendors that are selling produce on the street, that also have an abundance of supermarkets and corner stores that are also selling beautiful produce. So I think that we need to get ourselves out of the mindset that, one green cart is going to take away the desire of a bodega owner to sell bananas and oranges, because more is more, really. And preliminary, just sort of on a preliminary basis, we know that from our evaluation of the green carts program, that areas where there are green carts have actually, there's been a marked increase a significant increase in the overall availability of produce in those neighborhoods as compared to neighborhoods without green carts. So even when you take the green carts out of the equation, it seems as if, you can't say green carts caused this, but there is, with the presence of green carts, it's created competition, and there's an increased demand for produce. So we feel like that's a positive, plug for green carts.
All right, so I saw Tanya with her hand up. We're going to take one question, and I'm going to go for a follow-up question to that, but Tanya, please go ahead. Yep.
I think the green carts are great. I think in terms of economic development, it's wonderful. I think it speaks to a lot of cultural relevance for certain folks. But I have to be very honest in saying that I think many of the green carts do not help those who are still most marginalized with access. Because many of the green carts do not have the capability or aren't educated on how to get the capability to accept EBT. And so if I'm an EBT owner, if I'm a woman who is feeding her family with EBT, and I may look and say this is beautiful, it's mangoes, bananas, avocados, all this great stuff, but it's cash, then I'm going to either go to the supermarket and buy lesser value quality, or I'm just gonna choose to get something in a can because it's shelf stable and that's what I can find. So I'm just wondering, you seem really excited, so I'm assuming you're about to just hit me with some knowledge. Now, we are bumping up, making sure the green cards have the capability to take EBT.
So basically, because of the obesity, through obesity task force money and some extra money that we have, we are in the process of distributing about 100 EBT terminals to green card vendors for free. So this is going to really, I mean, we've seen vendors double their sales once they've gotten EBT machines, and this is really a seed business for vendors. They start as a green card vendor and then they build it up to be a distributor to other restaurants and bodegas in their neighborhood. So right now I'm holding these twice monthly workshops at the health department for green card vendors to come to so they can learn how to get an EBT machine. We've sent out a mailing to every green card vendor, and we're also going to start setting up I'm going to be holding workshops in each borough where there are green cards. So currently we have about 23 people in process of getting a EBT terminal. There already are 31 vendors on the street that do have terminals. But there's, you know, as much as we need people to also be asking vendors, like, do you accept EBT? Did you know that the health department is giving away terminals? So you can get that terminal for free. It costs $1,000 to get it on your own. So you can get the terminal for free, and then hopefully that will really help you.
Smart vendor right outside the Melrose Welfare Center, and he takes EBT, and people come out of that welfare center with the hungry kids with chicken spot across the street, and I've heard women say, no, we'll come here, and he's making money. Yeah. And people are having access at the right at the store, and I stopped out when they said, you know, my neighbor, there's one.
So just so that we can see, because I know you got to go, and I want to make sure that the audience hears about Bronx, you know, Shop Healthy as well. So just a couple of questions that were brought to my attention I want to put, and I don't know if you can answer, Peggy, because I know,
yeah.
Let's see what you can do.
Yeah.
So the health department, you know, has had a lot of success in the policy arena. You know, yesterday we heard about the soda ban taking place. So a lot of folks have this perception that you can do it all as a health department person. Are there any policies associated with Shop Healthy or Shop Healthy Bronx that are in the pipeline that maybe this audience could be aware of or could have influence in developing of some policies, if that's a part of the initiative or if it isn't?
Yeah, I can't speak to that right now because I don't know.
Okay.
I really don't know. I mean,
That's fine. No, it's fine. That's fine.
I mean, the city oversees, you know, the state really oversees, as far as the soda thing goes, you know, the state oversees the bodegas, and the city is overseeing like restaurants and food outlets, so that's why the soda thing.
And I ask because in the process of developing new ideas and new proposals for Bronx Health Reach and a lot of the other funded community groups, a lot of people wanted to see policy changes or have policy ideas. So I was just trying to see if there's a mechanism so that that information can be brought to the initiative or to members of the initiative, how that works.
Well, I do think that the dialogue is critical, and hearing from people, that's what I mean, because as we saw with the whole soda thing, you know, a lot of community members, people were really angry about it, and I do think that, you know, had the dialogue been a little more active ahead of time, we might have not heard so many, you know, maybe it would have gone a little bit more smoothly.
Just one final thing, the community participation with the 7 pillars of the initiative. I just wrote down 7 pillars.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any areas that are concerning the health department where community participation is vital that the audience should know about and that maybe they can, you know, coalesce and come together on? Or have you seen any elements that are really, you know, like, wow, we really need to get community participation on X issue?
Right. Well, you know, Bronx Health Reach is doing their own bodega program and working directly with a bodega, and I think that is a wonderful model. We need as many, you know, I have some presentations of what I would have gone through that I can leave at the door, but you know, there's so many, we have like, you know, over 250 community sites that we've identified, so
got, I think, the
You guys have
folks.
yeah.
We'll take one final question to Peggy, because I know Peggy's got to go. Then we're going to transition to get everybody else in the conversation, the panel. Remember, you had your hand up for a while, man.
But when you go in the back to buy something to eat, because, and I hate to say this thing, Jetro gives their sodas to the stores at the canned sodas at such a cheap price that they give it free with the meal. When you ask them, can I have a water instead of the soda? Oh no, I get the soda free. Why would I give you the water that I gotta pay for?
Right.
Is that a question for me?
And is there any kind of thing that DOH can bring down? Something just like, you know, because as 1199, we do support the mayor's ban on 16 ounces. We're actually pushing to give people information on it. But my thing is that we try to push for healthier. We adopt a store, you get a store, especially like a deli on Burnside Avenue, a large deli like that, and to not be able to, okay, if the kid, you're buying the kid the hamburger and the french fries, but the mother says, can I have the water instead of the soda? And it's no. That's kind of, you know, hard to beat the fight there.
One of the sort of changes that we ask bodegas to make is having these, you know, healthy lunch combo deli signs at their delis, and that includes bottled water and a piece of fruit with the healthy sandwich instead of soda. But that's actually, I do think that that's the kind of thing that if a community group is adopting a store, they could say, look, we don't want free soda, we want free water. We want water with the lunch to be an option. Can you make that an option? And bodega owners are going to listen a lot more to community members than they would to, you know.
So before Mr. Ortiz goes into the question, I'm going to have you. I'm going to come back around to your question, because I think there needs to be an education on what Jetro is and what Jetro isn't. You know, because I think you know that there's a gap, because we say food distributor. There's different types of food distributors. There's the Jetro food distributor model. There's the White Rose Crasdale distributor model. There's a lot of different elements.
I only mentioned it because that's who we said you get to.
No. And we're gonna get back to it. We're gonna get back to it. I want to build towards it so that everybody has a baseline understanding of like how that world really is and how it operates. So thank you very much, Peggy, for your time.
Some presentations on Shop Healthy at the door, and as Javier said, you all have our contact info for this meeting, so please just get in touch with us to find out more if you have any questions. Thanks, everyone. And also, if you have any questions about Green Cart workshops, or want to just encourage vendors in your neighborhood to get meetings, please contact me.
So, Mr. Ortiz, you're gonna have to wear multiple hats during this conversation right now. So, you know, no pressure, but you know, I think you can definitely handle it. So there was a great, you know, she brought up a great point about Jetro, but I want to take it back a step further. Can you please describe to the audience what Jetro is? Because my understanding of Jetro is it's a cash and carry, and when I've gone in there, I have visions of an enormous Costco that basically people can go to if you're a restaurant or a bodega or a small supermarket, and you as an individual can make the choice to what to buy, and Jetro as a company can only do like maybe advertisements of what's available, what's on sale, and things like that. So I may be wrong on that, but if you could explain what Jetro is to the audience in a couple of seconds, a couple minutes.
Just Jetro and Restaurant Depot. Jetro is more of a retailer side, more for bodegas, supermarkets. Restaurant Depot is more for the restaurant supply. We sell produce, meats, provisions. It's like a big Costco, but for bodegas. It's cash and carry. It's not open to the public. You need to be a business owner in order to have an account with us. That's basically what it is. It's a big Costco for bodegas. And you know, about the soda, let me just say that the can of soda if it's our brand, which is CNC, it's the same price as the 16-ounce water. I don't know, if anything, it was just because the bodega owner was not educated enough on the price, but
I know, like when you showed me the paperwork, and I also work with there's, you know, I kind of researched before I actually opened my mouth. And the thing is that, yes, that Retro and there's another distributor also who gives these breaks on these sodas. And the thing is that my whole big problem with that is I don't care, I understand, it makes good sense, business mind. But my thing is that if you're trying to build a healthier community, and I go buy a chicken salad sandwich or chicken salad, I don't want a soda. But when the owner in the store tells me, well, hey, that soda is damn near free, okay? But I gotta pay for that water. Way more than what I pay for that. So why would I give you something I have to pay more for it? For something that I'm giving for free.
So I just want to add a follow-up to that. The relationship between Jetro and bodega owners, if you can describe what that is, so that, you know, so everybody can understand, like, who, is there a middle person? Is it the bodega owner him herself going to the store buying things? Like, how does that relationship work?
It's the bodega owner himself going into Jetro, Restaurant Depot, purchasing, and that's it.
There was a couple of hands up. Lady in the back.
You asked about the relationship between the bodega owners and Jetro, but then my question is more so the relationship between Jetro and their suppliers, because now I don't know how much, you know, regulation or how much power Jetro has over how much things cost inside the store. I imagine that a large part of that has to do with, you know, where it's coming from with those particular companies, manufacturers, businesses, et cetera. But is there some way that there could be negotiations on any level to discuss how potentially we can make healthier options more affordable for the business owners and then therefore more affordable for the community?
Well, these are things we talked about with the health department. We work on supply and demand. You know, if people are asking for unhealthy food, unfortunately it's going to sell and we're going to carry more of it. It's the same way the bodegas work. You know, we would love to carry healthy food if it's sold.
Yeah, but it will sell if the price is comparable.
So I have a question. So it's a good question in there. I think for a bodega owner, and I'll get to the question in the back, perishable versus non-perishable goods. From your father's experience and your experience running a bodega, the shelf life of a non-perishable good is X amount of days. How much money lost comes to the bodega owner for the non-perishable goods if it doesn't sell versus the perishable goods? Do you have any idea, any numbers you can put? So that, because I think this is an important conversation, because we speak about a lot of non-perishable for the fruits and vegetables anyway. When we get to the water, that's something totally different. But at least the fruits and vegetables, perishable items, what's the cost hit to the bodega owner if those items don't sell?
I can't give you an exact, you know, number, but I can tell you it's a lot greater for the perishable items. It's a bigger loss than the non-perishable.
So, question. I know there's a question in the back. The gentleman in the back. Somebody, Dr. Kalman, question. Go ahead.
Just a comment. I mean, you know, it sounds to me like we have to build the demand in the community side, and that's really a public health issue. It's not something. I mean, it's something all of us who work in the community can do, but it's really a public responsibility, you know, to counter all of the fast food ads and stuff like that the health department needs to take on in order to be able to start to counter some of this. Because if people walk in and start asking for things, then the bodega owners are going to buy them, and they're going to do that. And I think we're talking a lot on the supply side. I feel like we're almost blaming the victim. In some sense, the bodega owners are in this equation with the community, and we have to work both sides of it. You know, we tried to do that in a number of our initiatives by identifying bodega owners that would sell healthy and then promoting them in the community. And I think we have to still continue to work on both sides of this equation.
Going back to the whole idea of freshness in bodegas, Restaurant Depot emphasizes quality. You know, our trucks come in, we make sure everything is at the right temperature. If not, we just send it back. The Hunts Point market doesn't quite work that way. So instead of paying $5 extra for a case of lettuce, it might go to Hunts Point market, which doesn't have the same shelf life, and get it cheaper. And that's where a lot of problems is with the shelf life on the produce. And you know, if we sell lettuce at say $2, and down the block it's $1, but his has less shelf life. some of the consumers are just gonna go down the block and get it for $1. That's the way these guys think, you know? It's not necessarily that they just don't want to sell you good, healthy things, you know? It's just, sorry.
So Dr. Kalman brings up a good point about public health groups and community-based groups creating the demand. And we have 2 community representatives here that can speak about some of the initiatives that they are leading that may have led to an increase in demand, or maybe have some information on how changes were made. So Juan, if you want to go ahead and talk about a little bit more about what Highbridge is doing.
Well, I concur with Dr. Kalman's assessment that it's a multi-layer process. You have to look at the supply side, but you also have to create the demand. When I first started working with Pasquale grocery store, it was all money talk. And we were working with the Bronx Smoke-Free Partnership, and we looked at the tobacco. How does the tobacco industry get to sell tobacco and increase demand? And so we used that model to work with fresh fruits and vegetables. And what we learned was product placement. When we took the bananas from the side shelves and we put them on top of the counter, we saw that the kids were buying the bananas. And when we offer a deal like, when we told the grocery store owners, if you look at it from 3 bananas for $1, we saw that they were really selling more bananas than ever. And then when it's at eye level for the children, they were picking it up for breakfast. It was just like they were just picking it up because it was right in front of their faces. So what we learned from the tobacco industry, we were actually applying for fresh fruits and vegetables. We also learned that we work at Public School 73 and we do a health and wellness curriculum. And what we learned was 98% of the children get their breakfast and lunch from public schools. And what we also learned, and this is somewhat detracting, but in Highbridge, 98% of the children qualify for free lunch. They're poor children. They're impoverished. They like, I think 65% live below the poverty level. So their main meals, their breakfast, which is the most important meal of the day, and their lunch is coming from public schools. And what we saw was there was a disconnect between the health department and the education department. Here, the health department is saying, eat fresh fruits, eat more vegetables, but the Department of Education was not giving that out. They were getting these frozen pizzas and these chicken nuggets, which was like an oxymoron, well, a disconnect. So we started to educate the children, and going back to what we learned was that the children were getting their, from the bodegas, convenient foods.
So I have a question. Your initiative right now is being done. A lot of people are doing their own separate initiatives across the city that are very similar to what you're doing. Are you collecting any evidence that would allow your program to be sustainable? Because one of the major pitfalls in all these initiatives is sustainability. Do you see your program going on the duration of the money you have now, and what you need to keep your program in place in the community?
Well, we have to educate, well, we have to start building a stronger nexus between the Department of Health and the Department of Education. But we also, what we see was going to help the bodega owners is that they have to understand that the community is changing. The community is changing. For the first time, we're seeing people are buying whole wheat breads. We're seeing people speaking in the language of fiber. That wasn't done, I mean, before we got into the community, people didn't even understand what fiber was. So we're seeing that the children, by educating the children, we can't change the adults. Once you've been eating fast foods for 20 years, and your taste buds are accustomed to eating high foods saturated in high salts, fats, and sugar, nothing's going to change. But the children, they're still developing. So if you educate the children, and I guess in 15 years, that's going to transform the community. So the focus has got to be with the elementary children.